For us, it all started because we looked at, to solve a fundamental problem, you have to control the fundamentals. So how do you control the fundamentals on mobility? You have to understand the battery. How do you solve the fundamentals of battery? You have to control the cells. And because everybody is dependent on imported cells, there's nothing much you can do with that. So if you start with the building block that you're not in control, maybe what you will build, you will not be really 100% in control. So our driver to go to the cell was to fundamentally understand what a cell is, how to make it, how to dissect it, how to interpret it. Even if you have to buy something from outside, what's going to be the characterization factors and everything. So it all started with a very deep sense of curiosity that if I can understand and control the quality and the perception around a cell and how I understand it, how I make it use of it, we will probably then be able to make a battery pack that's going to perform the way we want it on a multi-decade basis. So I think that was the whole interest. And yes, we do make lithium-ion cells, probably the only company in India that has the ability to make its own lithium-ion cells. We have installed India's first 50 megawatt hour lithium-ion cell production center in Bangalore. And yeah, this year we'll be doing a couple of vehicles made from India-made cells for Indian roads. It is expected, and you see the trend that lithium-ion cell production prices globally will definitely go down. There's no doubts about it. There's a lot of effort globally. Globally we produce about 400 gigawatt hour of cells. So every manufacturer is trying and working very hard to ensure that they are able to produce the cells at a cheaper price so that they get better margins and the customer gets it at a slightly cheaper rate. Will the prices crash? Today we probably talk about $120 per kilowatt hour, somewhere around that. Can it go to 100? Yes, there are some cells that are available. Can it go down to 50? Perhaps possible. There are some companies that are talking about it. So there is a trend that we're seeing with the global production increasing, supply chain becoming simpler, easier, more predictable, price optimization happening at a gigawatt level. I think definitely the prices of lithium ions will come down. The challenge really that I want to share here is that the bigger challenge is not only the price. The bigger challenge is the cell-to-cell variability and what are the algorithms, what are the know-how that a company or a team has to work with cells. Suppose you buy 1 million cells, can you just randomly select 100 thousands of those cells and pack them in a pack? No. There is a lot of algorithms and understanding that has to come on top of it to select the right group of cells that will work together. And that requires a deep end work on the cell technology to understand fundamentally cells, maybe dissect them down, look at that in X-ray. So all of that goes into understanding fundamentals of cells. And I think any company that works in the trenches of understanding cells will eventually make very good battery packs, and that's what India will probably have. So I think early days, I think I see a lot of battery companies also now getting very sensitive and realizing that we have to do a lot of work on the cell side, cell characterization primarily, and I think that will start to shape up as India progresses on its EV journey. I think we are a very strong R&D driven organization. Today we have over 150 patents. We file 2 to 3 or 3 to 5 patents on a monthly basis. So a lot of intellectual property is getting generated. Log9 cell technology has been one of the drivers for us, along with our battery pack and downstream mobility business. So we've got, it's a full stack EV technology company by now. Speaking purely on the cell chemistry, we do work on 2 cell chemistries. LTO, lithium titanate oxide, was the first chemistry we brought to market. The only company in India that has LTO solutions. And then LFP is something that we are working on. We should be, in this 2024, we will talk about it. We will launch it to bring a more economically viable product in the market from an LFP perspective. And for this particular, production line, that 50 megawatt hour production line that we've created, substantial capital, we've invested. But what we've done is we've partnered with, for example, we've partnered with some of the other players that are planning to set up large gigafactories in India. So some of our chemistries will get scaled up through large gigafactories. We may not necessarily go there on our own, but we will find partners through whom we can then scale up chemistries to gigawatt hour levels. The role of the government is critical when a new nascent industry is getting created. Subsidies, you first look at what is the quickest and the shortest solution that you can provide to a starting industry, and subsidies looks like that. You can provide a sudden impetus of capital, make the input product more cheaper for people to own it, and subsidies are great to kind of get an industry started. But I think government has a much larger role. It's a multi-decade view that the government should take on in terms of what are the other levers beyond, let's say, just discounting technology. We have to produce technology in India, and I think that's an area where government has a very active role in terms of booting up basic material science work in India, creating battery technology centers in India, equivalent of translational centers where academicians or collaborative labs can come with a small idea and can make cells, can make battery packs. So what you need is translational science in this India. What we need is material science revolution so that we can create supply chain locally. And when these secondary industries get created and research has a mechanism to come from lab to the market, and those are the places where fundamental investment in basic science, translational science, infrastructure, and supply chain. Those are the areas where government of India can work very aggressively. And these are not things that you discount, but these are things you invest both in terms of time and policy. So I think once with the right policy and right investment, just leave it to the brilliant minds in India to shape up what India can become.